Hello everyone, welcome to Terran Bio Micro, Terran versus Zerg. This is Ruff here for hotkey.com, bringing you a new video to show you exactly how to micro against Zerg opponents with Terran Bio units, such as Marines, Marauders, and Reapers. In this situation, I'm going to show you that one Marine cannot take down two Zerglings. Even if you try to micro, it just won't work. You have to be behind like supply depots or something. I'm also going to show you when you start to get into larger numbers of Marines, what exactly will happen when you start to engage Zerg opponents, their Zerglings, without speed. So here I'm going to show you 4 Marines versus 8 Zerglings. I'm not going to micro in this part of the video. So what's going to happen here is you're going to notice that when the Zerg opponent attacks and you don't micro at all, the outcome is going to be greater. So you notice that 4 Zerglings are still left alive. But if you introduce some kind of micro with the same kind of situation, you'll notice that there's going to be a large difference. So here I'm actually stutter stepping. In order to stutter step, you have to right click and then A move, which basically you're just right clicking and A moving again and again over and over. So as you can see with micro, I'm able to dwindle down the Zerg's numbers to about 1 Zergling there. So as you notice, the larger amount of Marines that you have, the more likely chance that you're going to take down Zerglings, larger numbers of Zerglings. So in smaller numbers of Marines, you can expect to lose your battle. So here I'm going to introduce 3 Marines versus a Marauder. Here I'm not going to micro as well, so throughout the majority of this video you're going to notice that I'm not going to micro in the first scenario, and then I'm going to show you what happens when you do micro in the second scenario of each kind of situation. So in this kind of situation, what you want to do is you want to use the Marauder to tank while you micro back. So this is what you're going to do. When you start to stutter step, you're going to use choke points, kind of like the towers I'm using here, and kind of letting the Marauder take the damage because, one, it has more armor than a Marine, but the DPS of the Marine is so much better than the Marauder when fighting Zerglings that you can micro a lot better by having that Marauder in the front, as you noticed. So in this situation, I'm going to show you a Marauder versus 2 Roaches. Now, a Roach one-on-one with a Marauder, the Marauder will win, but the Roach is actually more cost-effective for a Zerg when fighting against bio units, small numbers of bio units. So what you want to do here is when you get your concussive shell ability, you kind of want to stutter step micro back, and if you do it correctly, you should be able to take out both Roaches with taking minimal damage. So as you can see here, I'm just microing back. Anytime one Roach comes forward, I hit it with concussive shell, and the other Roach moves forward. So it's just a back and forth kind of micro trick that you're doing here. So you're constantly just microing back. In this situation, I'm going to show you how to fight against Speedlings with combat shields and Stimpak Marines. So it's going to be 6 Marines versus about 8 or 10 Zerglings with 2 Banelings. As you can see there, 99% of the time the Terran army will lose against Banelings. It is just pure Marines if you don't micro at all. So what you have to do is when you micro, you want to kill the Lings off. And then if Banelings start to get close, you kind of want to split your Marines. So the idea here is to micro back and then split them up. And you can also send a Marine forward or to take damage and blow the Banelings up. So in this situation, I'm going to show you how to use 3 Reapers and a Marauder versus Speedlings. As you notice that the Lings just ultimately destroyed that army. But if you set your Reapers in the back, kind of like when I showed you the Marine and the Marauder scenario against the Lings, you'll actually notice that the DPS of the Reaper is really high. It takes out Zerglings really fast. You just want to use that Marauder to tank the damage and then micro back when the Marauder dies with the Reapers. So here I'm going to show you 5 Marines versus 2 Marauders. When you're using 5 Marines and 2 Marauders, the idea is to try to take out the Mutalisk without kind of focusing them down and letting the Lings kill you. So you have to kill a couple Lings first and then try to kill the Mutalisk. So in this situation, it kind of failed and backfired and all the Mutas lived. So they're able to take out the remaining army that can't shoot in anti-air. So here what you do is you let the Marauders tank forward, you kill a couple Lings, and you pull your Marines back. And now you focus down the Mutalisks. By doing that, you notice that I only lose 2 Marines in that scenario. Here is another scenario where you have Marines versus Mutalisks. Now, Marines and Mutalisks, Marines normally will take out Mutalisks, but Mutalisks in really large numbers will take out Marines really quickly because of their splash damage. So as you can see here, I lost that battle because I didn't really focus fire. So in this situation, I'm going to show you how to focus fire. What you do is you hit shift, and then you right click on a Mutalisk, and then you hold shift down and start clicking all the other Mutalisks. So now you're just focusing one Mutalisk down at a time. So you notice that no other Mutalisks are taking damage until one dies completely. So by doing this, you're able to actually take out a large amount of units without really losing too much there. So in that situation, I was actually supposed to lose that normally. But like I said, when you focus fire, you can take down units so quickly, especially with Stimpack because of the DPS. Now in this situation, I'm going to show you Infestor versus Zerglings. Now the thing is, the Infestor is it's a really hard unit to deal with because of fungal growth. So what you want to do is you want to do the same thing when you're fighting Banelings. You kind of want to split your Marines up. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. I'm splitting them, and by splitting them, it limits the amount of fungal growth that can be used. So by doing that, you're able to split your Marines and go ahead and kill all the Zerglings and then finish the Infestor off. Now here I'm going to show you 3 Marauders versus an Ultralisk. Normally Marauders will take out Ultralisk, but you have to micro and split the Marauders because the Ultralisk has splash damage. So if you don't micro or split your units, you'll notice that the other Marauders around the Marauder that's getting attacked is actually going to take splash damage and end up dying. So that's why Ultralisks are so deadly when you're playing in a macro game. So what you have to do is you have to split as well when you're dealing with Ultralisks. So as you can see here, I'm just going to split my Marauders up and kind of like run around with one while the other ones start attacking. And if you do it enough, you'll eventually take out the Ultralisk by microing like that. Okay, so in this situation, I'm going to show you how to deal with a large amount of Banelings when you only have a handful of bio units. Now, if you have Marines and Marauders, the idea is you want to have the Marauders tank while your Marines pull back. But in that situation, I lost because I didn't do that and everything was grouped up. So you have to split and let the Marauders tank. So as you can see here, I lost absolutely no Marines and only the Marauders by letting the Marauders tank because Banelings don't do enough damage to the Marauders. Now here I'm going to show you how to deal with a Broodlord and some Zerglings, which is Marines. So if you try to attack straight forward against the Broodlord and Zerglings, you're going to lose because of the Broodlords, Banelings, or I mean the, what do you call them, the Broodlings keep spawning. So you have to pull back and kill the Zerglings first, as you can see here. And then what you do is once the Zerglings are gone, you can move forward and take out that Broodlord. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop it into the forums. Alright, see you guys later.